It's 3 a.m. November 13th. Friggin' fumes everywhere. I'm trying at usually 3 o'clock in the morning. I open the windows in the apartment and I run the fans to get clean, fresh air in the apartment. But I'd have to drive out of town. The air is so toxic right now, it's terrible. Um, I managed to get them all closed, and I didn't take an attack, so I think I'll be all right. But you know, we are such a stupid society. I just Are we ever going to smarten up? I doubt it. But anyway, yeah, uh, the fact that most of us with multiple chemical sensitivities aren't all dead is a miracle in itself, because the world is just so toxic. I don't know. I think at 80 years of age, I'm getting tired of this bullshit. But anyway, had a bad day, slept all day, couldn't function. Um, but that's not because I'm poisoned. I had my allergies and Parkinsonism and MCS in complete remission at the age of 72. I was 100%. I was gorgeous. Dancing, climbing 2,000 feet up on cross-country skis. But I have a huge tumor that did nerve damage. And it's inside my upper leg, and it's the size almost of a football. And it cuts off the circulation, and it did nerve damage. Now, I was paralyzed, semi-catatonic, when it first happened, back in 2015. So, I guess every little bit we got to be grateful for. But the real cure to causing disease is prevention. Mrs. Rodale, long since dead, and her magazine, long since bought up by Hearst, and it's no longer into prevention. She had the most incredible science. Dust mites, which she sent me, and I put that out on my website. But all this information, it's not new. And, my aunt, Pauline, was born with nerve damage and a cripple in one hip, and lived with terrible pain, and she didn't take any drugs, no painkillers, no nothing. And she shared with me the Prevention Magazine research. But you know what was missing? And this is 2021, and I'm really pissed off. Okay, Dr. Josh Axe is the only one that I know of that talks organic all the time. But with all that I went through and all the research and all, I was really privileged. I had a letter and I have a phone call from Dr. Jaffe, the National Institute of Drug Abuse, who helped me with the research into the brain damage that I have endured since I'm 6 years old. And eventually I got to the point where I lost all memory and I couldn't read or write. So I lost my homes, my millions, my properties, my careers, my investments, everything. And I was left to die on the streets in conditions worse than a damn dog. And then if that wasn't bad enough, the doctors refused. I had private disability insurance because I was very wealthy and I paid for that. I'd been sick since I was 6 years old. So I was prepared. Well, you know what? They sabotaged me. And they left me to die on the streets. And then, if that's not bad enough, in 1986 the doctor tried to murder me. Yeah, he deliberately forced me on Benadryl and I went catatonic. And he was scared that the police would investigate, so he tried to kill me. And, I escaped by divine intervention. And you know what? The police didn't give a shit, man. They never would have charged him. What an idiot. But here I am 37 years later, and, it just pisses me off that with all that, I mean, I had Young Glenn in Washington, D.C., science journalist. I had Dr. Stephen Levine in California. I had a Dr. Graham at the Centers for Disease Control. They all talked to me by phone. They were so kind to me. And these are Americans, okay? And Canadians didn't give a shit. Kill that bitch. But anyway, and the NIOSH Department in Chemical Hazards in Washington, D.C. sent me their handbook on ways to detox from poisoning and heavy metals and all of the above. And the Environmental Protection Agency in Dallas, they talked to me and sent me research. And the White House secretary helped me. I had an amazing amount of scientists. Not one ever said to me, go organic, that their food is laced with pesticides. And the pesticides go into the ground, and they go into the root, and they go into the fruit, and they go into the vegetables. And so therefore, they're not pesticides free. You're getting chemicals in the food. And some foods don't require a lot of pesticides, like okra and cabbage. And there's a great, what they call a green list on Google now. But I didn't find that out till 2 years ago. You would think with all the fraud that I'm a victim of, that I would have recognized that just because it's in the grocery store doesn't mean it's not poisoning you. Anyway, it's just so frustrating. I often feel like my life was such a waste, and I know that's not true. I just get depressed, you know. I don't like sleeping my days away, and I don't like being inactive. Can't think of anyone that does. Well, no, that's not true. I had an uncle that really enjoyed his heart attack. He got to stay in bed for 10 years until he died. What an idiot. Anyway, I'm just sounding off and feeling really quite lonely because I'm asleep when Dan's awake and he's asleep when I'm awake. Not that he's much of a conversationalist, because he's not. He's a good caretaker when he's not in a fit of rage, but he's willing to dance in the bedroom. If I was well enough to do that, he'll take me walking, swings for 5 minutes, anything to help me. So I'm really lucky, because so many of us have been abandoned completely, as I once was, and are completely alone. So I don't know why I'm feeling depressed. It's kind of silly. I'll be getting snow soon, and then I'll get happy. But if any of you are out there and want to communicate with me, by all means do contact me, because I'm up all night and I have nothing better to do. And I really like to help others if I can. I have so much research and knowledge in this brain of mine, and I couldn't live to be 1,000 to write it all down. But the way my memory works, really, after the brain damage, which took okra and years of detox to reverse, is that if you mention something, it triggers, and I see it in pictures, the answer. So send me questions. Happy to help if I can. Okay, over and out, and hi to all my allergy friends, MSC and Parkinsonism and chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I just finished some more research, as a matter of fact, on fibromyalgia. It's just another symptom of the same disease that I have, only they call it fibromyalgia, but it's basically the same. It's caused by chemicals and virus poisoning and so on and so forth. But they don't seem to be helped with diet as much as I am. Okay. God bless. God of the universe. G-O-D. God of the universe. Yes, I don't pray to anything on the planet, okay? We won't go there. I don't get into religion. And politically, I am only concerned with humanitarian rights for all. which means I'm very much against right-wing capitalists. They're a bunch of greedy, corrupt you-know-whats. So fascist pigs, I'm definitely not into them. And we've got a lot of those in Canada and the United States and all over the world. You know, I have a saying, I met an ex-Nazi, and he said to me, you know, the Nazis didn't lose the war. The rest of yous did. And he started talking to me about Monsanto and canola oil. And he was helping me with my disease back in 1986. He worked in the lab in Germany. Frank, I'm still here, and you're up there with the angels because, you know, you turned your life around and you're a wonderful man. God bless. And when I say that, it's not because I'm religious. I'm talking about God of the universe. Okay.